Good evening, everyone. I want to thank you guys for coming. I wish we had a larger crowd, but this is good. It's small enough, perfect and intimate. We are going to pass out some surveys that you guys can complete tonight or complete them later and turn them into the office. It's basic questions about your living conditions, the unit that you live in, our response time to work orders and complaints. All right? So let me get straight to it. We only have an hour, and I want to give y'all time to participate in this public hearing. About a year ago, not quite a year, but a year ago, almost a year ago, we had a public hearing, standing room only, and we talked about what the vision for St. Charles Housing Authority was going to be as it relates to how we intended to address quality of life issues for the residents. We also heard, you guys, not just in that public hearing, but in the two five-year action plan public hearings that we had. And the general consensus that we've received is that you guys are not pleased with the units you live in, based on the condition of those units. And what we promised to you, not a year ago, but almost a year ago, was that we would find some kind of way to address it. So during that time, a lot of research has been done. A lot of labor has been put into how do we address the condition of St. Charles Housing Authority. Personally, as a director, I was not pleased from day one. I think that everybody deserves what our mission says we should deliver, which is safe, decent, and affordable housing. And that has been the mission since I've been here. When we first met in our public hearing, we were talking about possibly doing something which was called RED, which was a type of conversion that would allow us to renovate the units that y'all lived in and bring them up to code and to the 21st century, you know, just basic needs and requirements being met. Since that time, the Department of Housing and Urban Development has mandate that every public housing authority, St. Charles Parish, East Baton Rouge, Maryland, Washington, everywhere, has to reduce the number of public housing units. So what does that mean? Reducing the number of public housing units means public housing, as we knew it, is not going to exist anymore. Not necessarily a bad thing, but we have in our research determined that RED would not be the best way for us to address the needs of St. Charles public housing. One of the reasons is that with RED, which is a conversion from public housing, it's still affordable housing, but one of the reasons is that if we RED, then we lose control of public housing. 5 years from today, 10 years from today, 15 years from today, somebody could come and say, well, we don't want to do affordable housing anymore. So we didn't think that was an option. Councilwoman Barlick and Commissioner Webb and I went to Washington, D.C. in December. And we talked about St. Charles Housing Authority specifically. And we talked about the needs of St. Charles Housing Authority. And we proposed a concept that did not or was not being done at the time. And we were like, why can't we just convert it from public housing to units that had its own Section 8 vouchers, which is considered project-based? Wasn't an option at that time. However, this year, HUD came back with the mandate that every housing authority had to reposition. And in repositioning, they gave us 4 options. One of them was RED, one was voluntary conversion, and the other was demo disposition. And I want to say the 4th, WMT, moving to work. We don't qualify for moving to work because of the condition of our units. You have to be an A1 public housing agency. We're not an A1. We are zero tolerance. Zero tolerance means that the agency has filled in every area that it can possibly fill in. So as a result, in the work that we've done, we've decided that the best option for St. Charles Housing Authority would be demo disposition. And I'm going to explain to you what demo disposition is, but before I go into that explanation, I want to say that the decision was based on keeping control of what happens with public housing. Even though we changed the way that we are organized and we reposition, we still maintain control of public housing in St. Charles Parish. So with the demo disposition, what we're allowed to do is the conversion, which is the concept we went to Washington, D.C. to talk about, which means we got a reprieve, we got a carrot. So the conversion has a process which is called streamline. And the streamline conversion allows us to put a voucher on every unit. Not to the tenants, but the unit. The unit becomes project-based. What that means is that it's no longer public housing, but it's still controlled by us as a project-based Section 8 development. In doing that, we also have the opportunity of doing a demo disposition. Demo disposition is two different concepts. Demo means demolish, speaks for itself. Disposition means that we transfer the ownership of the units into a nonprofit of which we still control. So, with that being said, we had done a physical needs assessment. And a physical needs assessment is just that. It assessed the physical livelihood of the units. Of our physical needs assessment, two of the developments failed miserably. One would be Salmon, and the other would be Hornville. Hornville has a unique situation, and it's an infrastructure issue. And those that live in Hornville know exactly what I'm talking about. We're talking about the sewage lines. So, with that being said, we've had problems from what I understand. But since I've been there, we've had another set of problems with the raw sewage coming up. The reason that is occurring is because underground, the sewage system is collapsing. It was built in 1969, and it is exhausted itself. So in order to address that, then the most feasible thing to do would be to demolish Hornville, rebuild from scratch, starting with the infrastructure, making sure that we have state-of-the-art, current type of sewage infrastructure in place. The other is the Salmon. In the Salmon, a decision was made that the Salmon needs to be demolished based on the condition of it. With the Salmon, we have a total of 12 units. In the Salmon, we will not be able to rebuild. We will not be able to rebuild on that site because of where it's located, and the floodplain will not allow it to. It is in the lower lines of St. Charles Parish, which means it is extremely prone to flooding. The other, is the camera on? Okay. The other site that we decided is Hornville. And with Hornville, we're going to start from scratch. We are going to rebuild Hornville. In Boutique is going to be disposed. It's going to be a disposition, which means it's going to be transferred to a nonprofit, renovated from top to bottom. From top to bottom, redone. What does this mean to you guys? What it means is that during this process, we have to do two things. You guys have options. Any option that we choose, you guys participate in the process. You are required to participate in the process, and we want you to participate in the process. With that being said, for every unit that we demo, that unit has what's called a tenant protection voucher. You have an option to choose to receive a tenant protection voucher, whether you lived in the Salmon, Hornville, or Boutique. That option is yours. You can also choose to participate in alternative housing. Alternative housing means that we move you from Hornville to Boutique during the process of the renovations. with everything that we've said, the tenant protection voucher, when we finish, you come back. You come back to where you were, but you come back to a much better situation. So in this process, this meeting is the first of many, because you guys have the opportunity, whether you call me on the phone, everybody know you could call me, right? Everybody know how to get in touch with me, right? My number is posted on the window when you pay your rent. But everyone has the opportunity to participate in what we want to see Hornville look like. Everybody has an opportunity to participate in what the new DeSalmon looks like. The current land in DeSalmon will probably become green space. We have the option at that time to sell it and buy land somewhere else, which is what we're hoping we could do. The new process allows us to grow our Section 8 program. It allows us to expand affordable housing. St. Charles, at this time, does not have enough affordable housing. That is why our waiting lists are so long. It is very difficult to get someone in a unit. The average wait, 2 to 3 years, or longer for some people. So with that being said, if you guys have any, wait, let me first of all say this. In a process of going through this, we don't have the talent, we don't have the capacity to get all this done by ourselves, and it requires teamwork. So as an agency, we have chosen to work with a development partner who has experience, and we did an RFP, which is a request for a proposal for development partners. And after reading everyone that responded, there was one agency that said, we will allow you guys to be who you want to be. And the issue for that, with that is this. When a development partner comes in, we're using their money. Federal government is running out of money for public housing. So that's why all of this is happening. It's been happening for a while. So when the developers come in, we're using their money. And when they come in, and because we're using their money, they want total control. But the agency that we chose said, we are going to let you be who you guys want to be. To ensure that, the commissioners we are in the process of hiring an attorney to represent us and to represent you, to make sure that that final agreement that we sign says exactly what they promised. So with that being said.
So this means, so we thought we would get Section 8
That's so here's what happened.
Ms. Hollis,
Huh?
can I interrupt real quick?
Yeah.
Because this is a public meeting and it is being televised, it would be good, if possible, if we could get people to come to the microphone.
Come to the mic. You want to come
to speak.
Well, all of them won't want to come to the mic.
I understand that. If you could at least,
I'll repeat what she said.
we need to have everything on the public record to meet our requirement. So,
Okay, I would like to know what all this means for the residents in the boutique project. What are they gonna do with us while they renovate our apartments?
I'm going to let Ms. Hollis speak to that, but there's a different plan in place for each of the 3 developments. So Ms. Hollis is going to go ahead and share with that.
The whole process has to be a comprehensive thing. It's not going to happen overnight, and everything cannot happen. Logistically, everything cannot happen at one time. So it's going to be done in phases. Boutique will be among the last because it's the most stable. But at the same time, slowly, if you live in Boutique, you notice that things are happening. As it relates to DeSalmon, there's no one there anymore. So that's where we start. That makes sense. In the interim, in Hornville, some people, I've gotten phone calls from lawyers. Some people don't want to participate in the voucher program. So what we're doing in Boutique is getting units ready for those that do not want to participate in a tenant protection voucher to move to boutique. As it relates to boutique, by the time we get to boutique, same process and the same options. Even while we're working on the Salmon, Hornville, or boutique, any of the three, every person who is a resident of public housing has an opportunity to participate in tenant protection
Hey,
vouchers.
but y'all, you keep saying about the tenant protection vouchers, but what my question is, why you all can't open up the Section 8 program and let those of us who want to leave the project get somewhere else to stay with the Section 8 vouchers?
Because
Because we live right back there. Every time they open up the Section 8 program, we the last ones to know.
Well, the
You know,
intent, okay, I'm sorry. Are you
we're the
finished?
last ones to know. Out-of-town people come back there and line up overnight and get the vouchers, and the people that's living right there, we can't even get the vouchers. You know,
Well,
I've been
I-
trying to get a voucher for 28 years for Section 8. I've been in that project for 24 years, in boutique
Okay.
project.
Okay,
I've been trying to get Section 8 forever, haven't gotten it yet. Can't even get on the waiting list.
But it's 3 steps though.
Them-
From what my understanding is, that first of all, you have to be employed, right? They pick to see if you're employed.
Ma'am.
then you-
Ma'am, if you're going to speak, we need you to come to the mic. And
So, as
please
Ms. Wa-
state your name as well.
My name is Kamika Brown. I stay in apartment 212. As Ms. Walterine stated about this being on Section 8, it's 3. I heard like it's 3 steps. Like you have to be employed, or if you have kids, you know, you're making the process move faster if you're on Section. If you do apply for to get Section 8 and stuff. So, but the line do be long, but when they say that everybody getting Section 8, everybody know the line gonna be open. Stand in the line and just wait till your number come up or whatever.
so it's very, very common that when a Section 8 program, waiting list is open, that people come from everywhere. That is a known fact, and the
Right.
lines are long. I cannot speak to the past. The waiting list hasn't been open since I've been there, and the waiting list wasn't open because we still had a waiting list. The waiting list is open when the waiting list is exhausted. And the way that the programs work and the intent, and you are correct, there are what's called preferences as it relates to the way that vouchers are issued. And in the preference process, the intent of public housing in Section 8 is to provide opportunity for families who need help to get housing. So if you're in a unit, then your need is not as great as someone who's not in a unit and does not have a voucher. As it relates to the waiting list process, that waiting list process is supposed to be advertised. So I can't speak to how it was done in the past. I do know that this administration, when it's time for the waiting list to be open, it's going to be done just like we do with a public hearing. We send flyers out to the residents. But keep in mind, you're going to be on the back of the list. We send flyers to the resident, we advertise it in the newspaper, and we put it on our website. That's the process. So opening up the Section 8 program to give a voucher to someone that's 2 different programs, 2 different rules. The Section 8 program is not our program. We administer that for the Department of Housing and Urban Development. We have a definite number. And if you guys didn't hear, we were placed on a freeze. After I came into office, when I first came, the first public hearing meeting, we heard that the waiting list was not moving because landlords didn't want to rent to our residents. And I said earlier, it's a comprehensive approach. I run a public housing, but I have to interact with the outside world. So since I've been there, I engage with the real estate community. So we have realtors now who are willing to work with our tenants to help them find somewhere to stay. With what we know is coming up, which is the vouchers, the tenant protection vouchers, we know that we're going to have a list that's longer than normal. So I'm now working with real estate brokers. On February the 6th, I'm going to an agency which is called No More, which is the real estate's, they manage all real estate firms. They handle the MLS system. So I'm going to their luncheon on the 6th to talk about St. Charles housing and educate them on the people who receive those vouchers. I need to, and this is why I need y'all help. I need to help them understand that my tenants and my participants are people. They work. They're productive citizens. They pay taxes. So whatever fear or whatever miscommunication or whatever misunderstanding that was in the past, we need to let that go so that we can move forward. We resolved our searching list. So we don't have people out there searching, trying to find somewhere to stay. I'm meeting with property managers in St. Charles Parish to make room for our residents. So it's comprehensive. It's not just us in a vacuum. We have to interact with other people.
Okay, I just have a few questions.
Just state your name for the record.
Stephanie Coder, and I live in Hornville. I moved from the Zalmans prior to this. If I'm not mistaken, did we have the same meeting like a year ago when you had first came on board about how we was good, and we passed out the little flyers and the pretty buildings that we were going to be tearing down and rebuilding to? Because I moved from the Zalmans I've been in public housing for a year, and I really wish that I would have moved from the Zalmans to Hornville so I could have got out of the system and let someone else that needs it get in. But
Let me answer the first
I have
question.
7 of us in a 2-bedroom from a 3-bedroom. But y'all redid the inside of the apartments, but if we're supposed to tear them down, why are we redoing the insides, ceiling fans, lights, fixtures? That's doubling money. That's like, why we're running out of money.
Let me answer your first question. That's 2 parts. Actually, that's 3 parts. That's 3 parts. So the very first, you were late to the meeting. So when we started the meeting, I started off by reminding everyone that next month, which is September, would actually have been a year that we had the meeting to discuss what we proposed to do. However, it's a process. So what we're doing now is giving an update on the process. And the things that you are talking about, I am glad that you are one of a few who've had an opportunity to receive those. But that's basic. I think that everyone should have that, regardless to what we're knocking down, regardless to where we're going to rebuild. It is our belief and our mission that everybody should have a decent apartment.
Right, so we have open ones in the back in Hornville that's been open for like since I've been there. But see, mine's already fallen apart like horribly because it was more like, I don't know if you remember Hurricane Katrina and everybody's trying to help them fix up the apartments so we can get people in. The paint on my wall is so thick that like the light fixture literally was falling, that the maintenance men were able to actually undo one light bulb for electricity and it's flickering on and off, and they nailed it back. Like, I'm talking about nailed, the paint is that thick. There's several different issues, but why are we doubling the money and on the same issue? Like a year from now, they have like numerous apartments that are open. That, I mean,
You say open, when you say open, you mean vacant? You mean vacant?
Yeah, they're not working on them. So how are we trying to move people in and move the process if we're not doing nothing?
We're not going to work on them.
I mean, I see money coming in for cutting grass. We get charged $25 if we don't cut our grass, but yet the grass don't get cut. We still have to double pay. That's half my rent. Unfortunately, I was late for the meeting because I'm unemployed, because I lost my job and my vehicle at the same time.
Okay, so let me say this. Double money in some cases may have been, may not have been, but in the beginning, we shared that when we start this process, HUD changes its rules and its regulations. Based on that change, which happened in 2019, you moved in 2018. Based on the change that happened in 2019, HUD's federal rules are called interim rules because they changed. They changed with administration, and whenever Congress wants to do something different.
Got so many people doing different things. They got to keep moving people in and out. So things are constantly changing, but nothing's getting better. It's kind of at a standstill. And St. Charles Parish is actually one of the better parishes, highest parish in the state. But what is actually going on, the doubling of money, is why we're passing out flyers and getting people's hopes up high, saying what we're going to do, but we're not doing. Like, I don't care if you move me in the shed right next to your office, give me a month and I'll be out of your housing. I just need to get to where I can walk and get a job. You understand? But for the other people who live back there and have been back there for years, the conditions are disgusting. It's horrible. In between the walls, it's nothing but mold. I have pictures from the Zalmans, and it's not fair either. The kids have to keep switching school to do this, to do that.
So we
That's not
concur.
right.
We concur.
Because
You're
HUD figures out.
restating what I said. We concur. We concur. However we address it, we can only address it based on regulations. The situations that you're describing accumulated over years
Yes, Minister,
and
I'm not
years.
blaming you. This is like years.
I don't think
of-
that you are, but what I want us to do,
Ridiculous.
because we have an hour's worth of time. So everything that you're saying, we agree with it. We agree that the living conditions are unacceptable.
So basically, we're not getting vouchers, we're not moving out. What are we gonna do? Can we just get to, like, what are we gonna be able to do so we can get them home and just find out what we're gonna do, what's gonna move, so we can know how to prepare ourselves instead of hearing the same
Once,
thing? That's all I'm
it's
wondering.
not the same thing. If you're listening, there's nothing that we're talking about that was the same as the last meeting. So what we're talking about now is your opportunity to get a tenant protection voucher if you choose to. If you choose to, but still that won't occur until HUD says and give us a notice to proceed. So we're managing other people's money.
So the
So I can't just say, well, Stephanie, I'm gonna give you a voucher.
I don't want a voucher. I want to get out of the system completely, to be honest with you.
Well-
With the tenant voucher, what is that, like securing my place for it to be
It's a voucher
torn
for you to
down?
go and find somewhere to stay.
So we are gonna be able to go move somewhere else while they tear
If
them
you
down?
choose, yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
All right, that's, okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you have no question.
The goal of this whole process is not to cause anybody to be without a home. The goal of this process is to make sure that not only do you maintain a place to live, but that the place that you live is the kind of quality that you would want to see anybody live in. A very
basics.
nice, basic, safe, decent place to live. And so that's why we're working through this process. The three of us that are up here are the three members of the Housing Authority that actually went to DC and proposed an idea of how we thought that we could make this work. And at the time that we did that, there was not a federal program that matched what we were discussing.
And
Since
I'm-
that time, it's come about, and so now we're doing what the regulations say we have to do in order to bring about the kind of changes that we want to see.
And I understand that, and when I moved in my apartment from the Zalmans to Huntsville, it was much better, like I loved it. I mean, it's falling apart because it was quickly done. But I understand y'all have rules that you have to follow and go by, but that's what I was talking about. the
And
doubling the
limited
money.
funding.
So it's hard to believe that if we're gonna tear something down, if we was refixing them up, that's
Right,
where I was.
and all of our funds, they're not parish funds, they're federal funds, and they're all restricted funds that all have obligations to what they're done for. So when we got funds, at one point in time, it was under one federal program. And now the federal programs have changed. And so we're adapting our plan to allow us to be able to do the things that we need to do.
Okay, thank you. Sarah,
I need to ask something.
now.
All right, Ms. Hollis?
Any other questions? Questions, comments? If you're not comfortable coming to the mic, do not let that keep you from speaking. But not from the kids, please. Yes, ma'am. I'll repeat it for you, ma'am.
And Charles, if you can turn on one of those mics, so that way we can hear.
Oh, yeah, y'all can sit. Where's Karen? I know I saw her come in.
She over there hiding by Miss Beverly.
I got her.
You ready? Good evening, everybody. My name is Shawanda Bailey. I live in Homeville Development in number 80. Ms. Hollis, you did bring up about the lawyer. I have to call legal aid and let them know everything step by step because I have got messed over a lot in public housing. I cannot move all over because I am by myself. I'm scared of some of those areas. You're going to have to fix an apartment in Bootsy to move me in.
You have
whenever
that
the
option.
process.
You have that option. They didn't tell me who it was, but I had about a 40-minute conversation. It was premature. You should have waited until you heard what you was going to hear today.
Yeah.
But understand this. You guys have interacted with me for a year now. My interest is your interest. I promise you that. I am an advocate I'm not just an employee. I'm an advocate for the tenants. It's my background. Google me, you'll see. I've been doing this for 27 years. And in the 27 years, any and everything I've done was to help. I am a project of public housing. I come from a rural, I catch myself. I come from the rural housing development. So, I understand. I get it. And when I was an adult and old enough to make a decision what I wanted to do with my life, I chose to work with people who I felt needed to have a voice. I just happened to land in St. Charles Parish. Still don't understand it. But I'm here and I love it. I enjoy work. If you live in Boutique, if you open your door or you walk outside, you see my window open at 6:30 in the morning. I'm the first one there, and I'm the first one to leave. I must admit that. But by the time I leave, everybody's taken care of. I've had multiple problems that people have had that I've had to work through and bite my tongue while I work through it. I have never retaliated, will not. And I understand the things that happened in the past. I cannot go through one workday without having it. But I need to say, the past is the past. The past does not exist here anymore. So with that being said, you will be taken care of. If you don't want to do a voucher, you don't have to do a voucher.
I understand that.
Okay. All right.
So you have an option, Ms. Hollis?
You have an option. You could come to Boutique. This is what happened. Let me tell y'all. I came here, my background was community development before working in public housing. And what I did is I did developments. I built houses, affordable housing. I did affordable housing. I built homes and I had a standard. I built homes easily at $200 and some odd thousand, and the average purchaser walked away with a mortgage of $85,000 because I understood how to leverage and how to subsidize, front end and back end. And I understood it. And I made it work. So when I came here and I saw St. Charles, I understood what needed to happen. And I made decisions that I've gotten in trouble for. But the fact of the matter is, since I've been at St. Charles Housing Authority, we have not leased up one unit. We have not moved one new person in. You know why? Because I knew I was going to need those units. I didn't know that tenant protection was going to come in. What I thought was that I was going to have to move y'all around the developments. I didn't know we would be able to demolish the Solomon. That was not our original plan. That was not. It was to fix it back up. But once I understood it and I saw a better way to make sure that people had a much more decent, affordable lifestyle, improved quality of life, I wasn't leasing up. So we got units maintenance, and I know y'all have your maintenance issues, but maintenance have been working their butts off getting units ready. They've been working their butts off. We've turned over units. Now, when HUD look at it, it looks like we're not doing any work because we have no new lease up. Right now, we have maybe about 92. Mm-hmm. We have about 92 families out of 129 units. So it's not about the money. It's not about the money. Like Stephanie said, a quick fix. To move you guys out of the assignment, we had to do the best that we can with the money that we had. That's what we had to do. And make it as nice as possible. You're right. The paint on the wall is too thick. That was the first thing I dealt with when I got there. I'm like, what is going on with this paint? So that's a good eye. That's good that you saw that. But I understood that we would have to move people around. So the record, when HUD sees it, we have scoring, we have NEMAR, we have unrestricted net position. We have ways that they could tell what we're doing. So when they see our NEMAR is not growing because we're not making more money, it's because I haven't been leasing up units. That's how we exist. So that was a very bold and courageous decision to make. But I shared it with the commissioners. I'm like, we can't put people in these units. We cannot. It's personally, it was a shame that we let those who were living in the units live like that. That's my personal opinion about it. And the little small things, because we don't have a lot of money. The little small things. I went to the seniors in Boutique, and my intentions was to go to Hornville, but it doesn't make sense to go to Hornville now because we're going to be transitioning people out. But I went to every senior in Boutique and every family that had a disabled member in the house. And I'm like, look, the best we could do, because you don't, there's no ventilation in those units. There's no ventilation. That blows my mind. Even with the air condition, there's no ventilation. I'm like, the best we could do is a ceiling fan. I talked to maintenance. I'm like, even with the ceiling fans, it don't matter because they can't open the windows.
That's why the mold goes so quickly because of that issue. You know that?
Because of windows?
Because of the ventilation.
But if
Like,
you got it cool, though.
When the apartments are stagnant, that's when it starts to.
If you keep it cool in your apartment, that mold ain't gonna come up.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
When
you
it's
gotta keep it cool
stagnant,
in
when
your
it's
apartment. That
not,
mold
when
not
it's
gonna
not
come
cool.
Those
is when
apartments
it
that
comes
had
up.
mold in them, been having mold in them for decades.
I don't know, because
I've been back
I don't
there
think my apartment
24
have.
years.
Okay, we do need to maintain order in here. We only have about 20 minutes left of this.
We have 20 more minutes, and I hear y'all complaints, but I want to hear what you got. Troy, you made it. You was pulling my leg, huh? Deuces. So anyway, I wanna hear. Let me tell you what I got. Let me tell you what I got so far. I got that you guys want Central Air. You deserve it. You're gonna get it. You deserve it, and you will get it. I need y'all to turn around. I specifically asked this because I know y'all got history. I told them I want them to televise this meeting. This meeting is being televised, so everything I hear, the whole world could go back and say, oh, that's what she said they were gonna do. You guys have consistently said you want Central Air. You guys have consistently said that you want units that don't leak. I get it. You guys have consistently said that you want washer and dryers. You're gonna get it. It's gonna be stackables. It's gonna be stackables. But you're gonna get it. You know, your kitchens, your bathrooms. The bathrooms, when I go to people's house, y'all could call me for whatever. The first thing I say is, let me see your bathroom. I walk in, I say, let me see your bathroom. And if I walk in that bathroom and I don't see if I see something that I think is inappropriate, I don't like what I see, I'm on the phone with Charles and I'm like, y'all need to go down there and do. Within 1 week, we remodeled 3 bathrooms. 3 bathrooms, because I went to 3 different tenants for whatever reasons. We did those bathrooms. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, well, I have papers from my doctor that's been sitting in the office for over a year, stating that I'm supposed to have a shower unit and grab bars in my bathroom. I haven't gotten those yet.
What's your unit number?
203, and that's
So-
been since June
so what's the rule
of
here?
last year.
She can move her mom because I have that, and
What's the rule? Come on. Wait, Stephanie. No.
Hold up.
Listen. What's the rule? The rule is, and everybody knows this, if you've had interaction, you have work orders and that work order has not been dealt with, call me. Call me. You came to my office and you told me that. I remember that. And the only thing I said to you is show me the doctor's note.
It's in the file. It's in my file. I don't have it. It's in my file. I turned it over to Housing Authority.
I will.
In June of 2018 was when I turned those papers in.
Which was before I was hired, but I'm here now. I'm pulling your file tomorrow. I'm pulling your file.
When
Everybody want a shower. Y'all gonna get them.
All right, again, we need to maintain order because we only got about 15 minutes left. I know Ms. Hollis has some things she needs to get to.
I just want to know, like, how long is this process gonna take, like, you know, I
Can you come forward, please? Because we cannot hear you at all.
I can stand up?
Come to the mic, so.
Good evening, I'm Kanisha Isaac, I live in Hornville, apartment 64. I just want to know, how long the process gonna be, like, when we, gotta move out, like, how long it's gonna take?
That process, I cannot give you an answer on it. Today is the first meeting. Remember what I said, the final product, you guys have to participate in that. Meaning, what we need to give to HUD is a plan. And when we give our plan to HUD, our strategic plan, that plan is also going to include what our units look like. You guys will participate in the process of helping us design that. What I have done, because this is new to St. Charles, some of these things I'm talking about been around for a while. Everybody saw what happened in New Orleans. You know, they knocked them all down, and they're all beautiful. So it's been going on for quite some time. But the development partner that we decided to go with, which is called Standard Enterprises, what I did was invite one of them here, and Standard gave us a solid, because what Standard did was hire a former executive director, and that's a director from East Baton Rouge, and that's Mr. Richard Murray, who has already done everything that we're talking about. So when we want to move forward, like I said, some things we don't have the capacity. With HUD, you don't have to recreate the wheel. Sometimes you just duplicate it where it works, and they've done an excellent job in East Baton Rouge. So I'm gonna have Mr. Murray come up because he can give more technical answers than I have the ability to give you, and I do not want to mislead you.
Okay, and one more question. I was hearing that you said Booty had ceiling fans and stuff.
Some, not everybody, baby.
Oh, I was to say, because how we pass the opportunity.
But there's
Because
some
guess what?
people- no,
I have
no.
to get a bigger air conditioner. I have a huge air conditioner. I still be hot, especially when I cook and everything.
Which
It's hot.
is a wiring issue. But we have some people in Hornville with ceiling fans, and one of the problems that we've learned is that because it's hotter than ever before, that you guys are buying bigger units, and those bigger units are overloading our aluminum wire. But we found a fix around that. So if that's an issue, you got to call. Don't just complain about it. You got to call. If you call office and you say that your breaker is tripping or your lights are going out, you don't know why. I know why. It's because of that bigger air conditioner. We have an electrician who will come and he will add a new circuit to the current breaker.
Had that for a while. I don't have that many problems, but I just have probably my little towel coming up because I mop so much, and I have a little sink. Like I'm at the falling downstairs, but I don't really have that many problems.
That's a big
with my
problem.
unit.
Those are all problems that
Really have
need to,
that
that
many
you
problems. I thank God though
need
I
to
don't
put
really
them
have
on
that
the
many
record,
problems,
call
but that's
the
some old
office.
apartments though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank God I really don't have that many
So
problems
you
with my
live
unit.
in
but-
a fourplex.
Yeah, upstairs.
Our fourplex all have subflooring issues. That is a major issue because you can fall, and we're addressing that. So that's a subflooring issue. What unit is that?
64.
You still got to call our office though, so we could put it in the system, but we need to get,
Yeah, I
Ronald
think I
San
did
Diego
go a
out
while
there.
back, but I had to come. Yeah, but that's all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Hollis, is it any way, I know that there's like a plan and a time line you have to go by, but is there any way possible, and I'm speaking on myself, I'm sorry, so I can get it done with, you can gladly move somebody in my apartment, put me in Booty in one of the ugly apartments, and give me a month and a half so I can get a job and move out. Like, can you do that?
Stephanie, you saying what?
If you're gonna do the move to Boutique, or is that gonna be a quicker process than moving out completely?
It will be. But I'm not going to move anybody back in an apartment in Hornville. So, but it still has to be a part of a plan. And you use a number. We got some number discrepancies that we're going to talk about later. You use a number, but I think what you need is a 2-bedroom, correct?
I have 1 bedroom and a month to get out. I need a job, I can walk through and a month to get out. That's all I need. I'm telling you, I told you a year ago, you would not see me here no more.
Okay.
Honestly, like, I'm being completely honest, and I'm not even laughing about it. Like, if I was in Boutique, I would have been left, because I would have been able to get a job, so I could walk, so I have no problem walking.
We're going to talk. We're going to invite Mr. Richard up. But while Mr. Richard is coming up, Richard, come up here so that you can be on camera. While we did a workshop. We did a workshop in St. Rose at the library. We had 12, it was for you guys and individuals who were on Section 8. There were 12 people that came. Knowledge is power. You know, I believe in providing information. 12 people came, and out of those 12 people, two of them are now homeowners. Didn't need assistance because they didn't even understand how easy it was to actually buy a home if you're working every day. Some people may need help with credit repair, credit restoration. We could open doors, but we can't. We don't have no magic wand to give you. We could open doors and we could provide resources. And I've been asking over and over again, anybody, our community center cannot accommodate, but St. Charles Parish Library has allowed and offered us to use it anytime they want. So any type of assistance that you guys say that you need, there are agencies that's all they do. Credit repair, home ownership training, job training. You know, those type of resources is an easy fix for me. We passed some flyers out. What are you saying? You saying what?
They offer it again, so we'll be able to go, because sometimes I got 2 jobs. I'm not always at home to get something like.
Catherine Cherry, is that? She offers the budgeting, the banking, the credit repair.
I mean, my credit is fine,
Miss
it's
Sherry,
just,
and they
funding,
work
like,
with
sometimes you have to,
Come see me.
no, I won't get on that.
I said, come see me
No,
at the
just-
office.
Just make it,
Come-
go in and
come
see her
see
in the-
me.
at the office. Mr. Murray, let's go ahead and get to your,
Hi.
Hi, I just want to say, I'm Richard Murray. I'm from Baton Rouge. I work for Standard Enterprises Incorporated out of Monroe, Louisiana. I spent 33 years in housing, doing housing for three different housing authorities. It's two in Georgia and East Baton Rouge Parish Housing Authority. And a lot of the things that Ms. Hollis is talking about is pretty much what I did my whole career. That's to come in and to find the resources to either renovate or to build new housing. This agency has decided that they've selected us as their developer partner. Our goal is to help her to reposition the units on the demo of the Salmon and Hansville, and then to do a major renovation at Boutique, and to do new construction at Hansville. As we go through this process, just be mindful. And I really applaud you all for coming out tonight. I've been at some of public hearings in Baton Rouge, and nobody showed. I really applaud y'all. When I saw all the residents, I got excited because we normally don't have that in Baton Rouge. We didn't have a lot of it like this. But our goal is to walk through this process every step of the way, and I hope you attend all the meetings we have. We want you to be involved in how we will design units, what amenities you will have in there, how large it is, the whole 9 yards. We need your involvement. And I understand that I'm going to ask for your wish list.
Put a wish on the back of that survey.
Then we're going to go out and secure the funding. Here's your wish list. Your funding might be up here, or it may be right here. We're going to provide the best housing that we can with the funding that we secure for you. Nobody who lives in the St. Charles Parish Housing Authority will lose their housing. You are eligible for relocation assistance. You will get it. If you violate the rules and they have to help you to move, then you're not eligible at that point for any more housing. So I would suggest, and I would tell you, follow the rules until you always to follow the rules, but if you want to participate in the new housing that's coming in, you must be a resident of the agency at the time that we do an activity. How long does this take? It varies. We're in the process of actually doing a lot of the preliminary work now, so we hadn't really established timelines. I've done some properties that has taken us 2 years to do. I've done some that has taken 3. I've done some that has taken 5. It just varies, all depending on, I hate to say it, but disasters. Presidents at time, they can make statements where, it changes the whole dynamic of our processes. So it just varies depending on it. But I certainly hope that you all will stay engaged. Stay engaged in this process because it's for you. It's not for Ms. Hollis or the board members. All of this is about you, the resident. And you will see us at every meeting as possible. as we start designing the units, we want you to say, that's ugly, or whatever you want to say. But at the end of the day, I need your input. All right? Thank y'all. And here again, man, I love this. This is a nice crowd. It's a real nice crowd.
St. Charles Parish Hall in the third-year resident, sir. So as we begin to wrap up, I see Karen is here. Karen, thank you for coming to the meeting. Stand. Because I don't even much know if everybody had an opportunity to know. But Karen was appointed to the Board of Commissioners as a resident commissioner. And I tried everything I could to tell her, don't move. Because one of the requirements for the resident commissioner is that you are a resident. And Karen, it's a good thing. It's a double-edged sword. It's a double-edged sword for me because I lost it and we was just getting there. But I want to thank her, because she was a sounding board. And when I say she brought your issues to me, well, she brought your issues to me. She really did. She most certainly did. So with that being said, I want to thank you. You have anything to say? So that means we need a new resident commissioner too.
I want to thank you for the opportunity.
Go to the mic, ma'am.
I want to thank you guys for the opportunity to be on the board and represent everybody. I did my best.
You did a good job.
Karen,
Too bad we don't video. She did a good job of representing your issues, I'm telling y'all. But we need somebody else with Karen kind of spot.
Karen, I just want to say thank you for the time that you were on the board. It was great getting to know you. And,
Are you crying?
And you definitely brought some issues to the table, and you brought your own perspective, which I'm sure is shared by the residents, so the board could kind of get a handle and a grasp on some issues that needed to be addressed. And I really do appreciate what you brought to the table while you served with us. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, Stephanie.
So that means you're hiring and it is a paid position?
It is not a paid position, it is an appointed position, and that person, but this needs to be known. That person is your voice. So we need recommendation, once again, it hasn't even much been a year. We need your recommendation among your peers. And, I mean, that's an awesome opportunity for the residents, because we sit here and we make decisions that influence and that influence your life. The way that HUD has this thing set up is that as we make those decisions, somebody from your population has the right to sit here and let us know how you feel and bring your voice to the table and influence the decisions that's made that's going to affect you. So y'all keep that in mind. We still need a resident association. We need that. We need that. Now, there's been a lot of people's ears, but I'm not getting no feedback. And by right, I am not supposed to influence that process. Now, I can, but I'm not supposed to. If I influence it, then basically I'm manipulating your voice. I choose not to do that. Miss Hudat, why you tapping Mr. Hudat? I could see from here. So we have 60 seconds left, guys. Any questions, any comments? I will be getting back with you within the next 21 days. 21 days. If it's more convenient, from this point on, it does not have to be in the setting. And I learned that I get more participation when I come to y'all. So with that being said, we will schedule site to site. Y'all like that process better?
For the meeting, we're gonna go site to site?
Yeah. Hornville don't come outside. Hornville, y'all don't come outside. We have to catch her after the kids get off the bus? So Hornville, give me some suggestions as it relates to the best way to communicate with you guys, because I'm getting very little participation. But if I know if I go on a playground in Boutique, they're going to come. All I need to do is come with some hot dogs. Enrique Jackson be giving us cases of them. So, yeah, he does, huh?
He does.
So if that's what it takes, a meet and greet, whatever, but as long as we getting y'all to participate. We need y'all participation. And don't be on the side trying to whisper something, Troy. We need it done. I know you will. I know you will. But I want to thank everybody for coming out. When you go back home, I intentionally put on that flyer voucher. Let me tell you why. Because for the last public hearing, we had about 3 people. The first one, we got wall-to-wall room. Literally not enough space for everybody to sit. So with that being said, this time I intentionally put voucher because I knew it was going to pique interest. I also knew it was going to stir some rumors, but if you wanted facts, you had to come here. So now y'all could go home and y'all can share with y'all neighbors some facts. And if anybody's confused, just tell them to call me. I'm sure that they will. So I thank you for your time. The bus, the van should be out. Y'all can stay for our meeting. Our meetings are public meetings if you choose to. But the van is, did everybody fit on the van or did he take multiple trips?
No, he made one trip. And he gave me the number to call him when we're ready.
He outside, he just texted me.
So at this time, we're going to end the public hearing of tonight, but we are going to have our regularly scheduled meeting of the Board of Commissioners, which is also public. What we're going to do at this time is we're going to take about a 5-minute break for the board, and then we're going to come back in and convene for our 6 o'clock meeting. And anyone that wants to stay for that meeting is more than welcome to. That meeting normally lasts about an hour or so. So you're more than welcome to stay, but we appreciate you coming. Thank you for your input.